Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. Our guest today is a board-certified physician assistant with 12 years of experience in cosmetic dermatology and plastic surgery. She is proud of being able to give back to Fantastic Friends of Western New York, a 501c3 that's services to individuals with developmental disabilities. Her superpower is being able to work as a cosmetic dermatologist, as a board-certified physician assistant, while managing her business, Lico. Welcome to the show, Danielle Augustino at Lico Aesthetics.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your time in sharing your experiences, your business. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit more about what Lico is all about? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Lico?
So it's Lico.
Lico. Okay.
Lico. Okay. Yes.
So Lico. So tell us more about Lico.
Yeah, so you had mentioned that I am a board-certified physician assistant, and I have about 12 years of experience in cosmetic dermatology and plastic surgery. So a few years ago, I decided that at some point I wanted to develop my own skincare line. And I started researching really on how to go about that process in a smart way. Yeah. And I launched the business about 7 months ago, and it's grown in that 7-month duration.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of the background, the history of how I kind of got started.
Okay. Now, when you were looking at creating this product, what was the reason for that? Was it because there wasn't a product that exists that served your market, or was it just not good enough? Like, what was the reason behind coming with your own product rather than just, oh, you know what, there's a product that already exists, I'll just buy that?
Right. So that's a great question, and I get that a lot. So really why I wanted to have my own business, and a big portion of that as well is I am very much a believer in my life revolves around a vegan lifestyle. I buy everything that's cruelty-free, not tested on animals. So yeah, that's very important to me. And the skincare market is certainly very saturated. So there are so many different, cosmetic lines, and, they're great. But for me, I wanted to feel comfortable knowing I can trace the ingredients back to the source versus maybe a rep telling me, oh yeah, this product, it has some vegan ingredients, or it is a cruelty-free company. Yeah. Which a lot of times you can't really trust that, whether it's, the parent company that still enforces animal testing. So that was a really big portion for me, is to be able to trace back the ingredients, and again, have my name attached to it and feel good about the product and know that it really works and I'm really servicing my patients or clients.
Okay. Nice. Now let's dive a little deeper. Now, tell us a little bit more about your product line.
So it's an anti-aging skincare line, and we have, I think, about 9 products right now. I'm going to be launching another 1 or 2 products probably by next into the fall. Wow. So it's more of an anti-aging skincare line. And again, using key ingredients that I know over the years that work. And so coming up with these formulations that are going to work, but yet are still safe for the skin. And again, just tracing back those ingredients to the source where I can feel good about it, passing it along to my consumers.
Okay. Yeah. So anti-aging, is there a certain demographic or age group that you're mainly targeting for your product line, and how did you figure that out?
Sure. So just being in the industry for so long, the patient base that I've worked with is generally in the 30 to maybe 60 age range.
Okay.
So working with the skincare throughout the years, the ingredients,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to stick with that sort of demographic in that 30 to 60-year-old range.
Okay.
So from a preventative standpoint, in terms of anti-aging, and maybe that 25, 30-year-old, but then also maybe someone who's a little bit older who hasn't really kind of gotten into a good skincare regimen, we can still get them on something where they're going to see that improvement.
Okay. Okay. So from my understanding, it's based on your experience, what you see from your clients, and what their needs are, and that's kind of how you came up with your products, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice. So where do you see, especially like now, all the craziness that's going on in the world? I guess, first of all, how has that impacted your business? If so, how has it impacted, and what are you going, are you doing anything about that?
Sure. So to be honest with you, when this, the COVID crisis started happening, I started getting very nervous on how it would impact the retail portion. And I know a lot of businesses have certainly taken hit on that. I was just having this conversation with a couple family members today that this week for Laco has actually been our best week. And I think because of that, if you ever hear of this lipstick effect that they talk about in the Great Depression, where the economy was really poor, but women wanted to still buy themselves something that made them feel good. So they would go out and buy lipstick, which maybe wasn't a great financial decision, but it made them feel good.
Yeah, it's like something for themselves.
I do think that, exactly. So I do feel like this week, even though I was nervous that, maybe we were going to take a dip, we've actually increased in terms of our sales, which was really surprising for me. So, and again, I think it's going back to that, self-care aspect where men or women want to feel good. They want to kind of have this some sort of self-care at home while also, promoting good skin health. So overall, this week, last week, it's been really great, and we haven't seen any sort of impact.
Nice. That's very good to hear. How do you market your business?
So to be honest with you, the marketing has really come from word of mouth. One of my patients or one of the consumers passes it along to someone else. But I primarily, it's through Instagram and Facebook and then the website. But a lot of the business has really come from word of mouth. So that's been huge for me. And I'm incredibly grateful to all of the consumers who have, posted their Instagram stories saying how they love the Laco product. So that's been certainly a great help.
Yeah. So like, do you try to get testimonials? Do you try to get that on Instagram? Like, do you try to tie everything together, starting with the word of mouth? I'm just curious.
So I do, when I first started my Instagram page, it's such a learning curve, and I'm still learning as I go each day. So it's making sure that I have good quality photos, and also good learning content. So posting about different ingredients, how that can be effective. So posting on the page, and then again, the stories, more educating the consumer versus trying to sell, because, even me, myself, I don't want to be sold to. I certainly want to be educated and know, how is this going to benefit me?
Yep. And being an informed buyer, right? Knowing like what you're buying, especially in the position of knowing where your product comes from, you being vegan, right? These are important aspects. And so now that I'm kind of hearing these things, so that's really your target market, right? So not only are they in a certain age group, but they have these certain qualities, right? Is that what you're looking for in your market, right?
Right, exactly. And I do feel like, 2019, 2020, I do feel that a lot of consumers are becoming more educated in what we're eating, what we're putting on our bodies. So I think people feel more comfortable knowing
Yeah.
hey, this, this ingredient is, XYZ or where it's coming from, and it's a trusted brand. So that's really what I'm trying to convey to consumers is, there's this transparency. I want people to know that, I'm doing my due diligence, making sure that where the ingredients are sourced from, eco-friendly, my packaging, we have a lot of glass containers. So recycling, I just, more of this eco-friendly feel as well.
Nice, nice. Now I'm curious, like, how do you handle your testing of your products?
The testing. So what I end up doing is I work with a chemist with the ingredients that I want to have formulated into a product, and goes through stability testing. And then I test it for probably a good, 6 months to a year to make sure that I'm good with everything. I'm not getting any sort of sensitivities or allergies or, causing any sort of damage to the skin. So certainly having them do their stability testing through the chemist, the lab, and then I do my own testing as a consumer. How does the product feel? I know what their good ingredients, I know that their percentages are appropriate, but how does it feel and how does it look on my skin?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you mentioned you started the business 7 months ago, right? So
I launched the product line, 7 months ago.
Yeah. And you already have how many products?
I have 9.
How do you do it? Like the reason why I asked is we have had other, guests on the show. They're like, oh yeah, we only, we have one and it was already a huge undertaking, right?
Sure.
But you have what, 9? How do you do it?
9.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was starting to research, that certainly came up as you don't want to start with too many products. For me, however, being in the industry for so long and knowing that there's different skin types, you have dry, you have normal, you have oily, you have acneic skin. So I knew that I couldn't just do 1 or 2 products. I need to be able to cater to different skin types and also, what we're trying to go for. Are we going for, this antioxidant powerhouse serum that's more anti-aging, and then also moisturizer? So yes, I kind of toyed with that where I knew it's not financially, maybe it's not a good idea to go 9 products. But again, I wanted to be able to cater to a wide range of individuals.
Okay. So,
but what I would recommend, I think a word of advice would certainly be to start off small in terms of your SKUs. Okay.
So start off with not 9, maybe 1 or 2, and then go from there. Is that what you recommend?
I would say a few. A cleanser, your serum, your moisturizer, maybe a neck cream. I think it's whatever's comfortable for this new beauty brand that's coming onto the scene.
Okay. Yeah, I can see this. So are you saying, like, based on, your clients or your patients knowing what skin type that they have, you can then pick from essentially your lineup and saying, okay, this is the best product for your skin? Is that pretty much the customer experience that you're delivering?
Yes, and that's what I am always conveying to consumers is, I want them to be able to reach out to me and say, hey, I want a skincare routine that is appropriate for my skin type. So I go through the questions of, is your skin normal, dry, oily? Do you have sensitivities? Do you have allergies? Because those are all good questions to ask.
Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. Now, where do you see your business, headed, the rest of this year? And then, we're looking at 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Where do you see your brand going?
So as of the past few months, Laco is in 2 offices, which offer back bar service, back bar for facials or for other type of skincare treatments, and then also as retail. So that was huge for me, being able to get into 2 locations within, 5-6 months. I do hope that, and my plan is to get it into maybe other cosmetic dermatology offices, spas, where it's used as back bar for treatment. And then also that client or patient can go home with that at-home skincare routine. So certainly growing it in that aspect, and then also bringing into, on board some other products as well.
Nice. So I'm curious to know, and I'm sure other viewers are too. How did you get your product into the two locations? And are they? Did you mention they're spas or they're yeah. So how, yeah.
One is a plastic surgeon's office.
Okay.
Sure. One is a plastic surgeon's office, and then the other one is a medical spa. And really how I was able to develop that relationship is my contacts throughout the years of working as a PA and establishing, that relationship with colleagues and having that trust factor. Sending samples out. That's huge also for businesses to say, hey, I'm going to take on your line. You need to be able to send samples and have people test the product, feel it, see how it works with their skin. That's the only way that it can ever get into a retail or a cosmetic office.
Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily, I mean, in your case, yeah, you have that nice database, with a lot of experience, and you were able to use that, right? But for like a new entrepreneur that does not have that, doesn't mean it's impossible for them to get in. They just need to go out and reach out and like you said, right? Send out samples and just keep doing that, and hopefully they'll get at least one or two in the beginning.
Exactly. Sampling, literature, that entrepreneur should know exactly what they're talking about in terms of ingredients, the effectiveness of the product, so that these accounts can feel comfortable bringing that line on board.
Yeah. So now how do you handle it when, let's say, like, I'm not too familiar with your, competitors, but if they say, hey, we already carry a product line, it's, competitor X. So how would you position yourself and say, no, you should consider my product? What would you do in that case?
Sure. So again, I think it comes back to sampling and also the knowledge behind the product, where maybe a high-end company, you don't have that personal relationship. And that's what I'm always telling people is I'm very approachable. I want to make sure you're on this regimen correctly so that you're seeing the results. So I think it's that relationship that I'm able to develop and to commit to with the accounts, that they can reach out to me regarding any sort of questions. But again, it comes back to sampling the product. It's a great product. They're going to love it. And just that knowledge and, pleading your case saying, hey, this is a great product and this is why it's a great product.
Nice. I love it. So basically to talk, sampling is a key piece, but also having a very good understanding of your own product and how it differs from your competitors and why your product stands out above the rest is
right. Exactly.
An important piece. And of course, it sounds like don't give up. And I know from personal experience as an entrepreneur, there's going to be a lot of rejections, right?
Right.
Be able to kind of survive and get through that. I mean, life's going to throw us some crazy stuff at us. Like right now, everyone's experiencing these, the pandemic right now that's going on. So no one expected that, right?
Right.
I love that. And now, okay, so if you could go back in the time machine, right? Go back 7 months, what would you tell your younger self, your 7-month younger self?
Sure. I had some issues with some of the packaging and going with maybe you really want to research the companies that you're going with because it's a big investment. And what I'm talking about here is the boxes. I had a lot of issues with boxes that came from a company that they didn't come in correctly. So that was a big struggle for me. And there was really nothing I can do about it. So I think really researching, the companies that you're going to go with, whether it's for the boxes, for the labels, for the silk screen, try to talk to other people who have maybe used those companies. I think I probably jumped into this major investment of the retail boxes. And it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it really is, because now I'm kind of stuck with these boxes that I'm not crazy about, but it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. I made that mistake of maybe going with a company that I probably shouldn't have. And now I know better. So research. Absolutely.
Got it. And I guess, is there any other recommendations you could give to someone that's thinking about starting, or they're getting ready to start their beauty business?
I would try to find maybe online some sort of beauty entrepreneur group. I think this is a great resource for people, just so that they don't make the same mistake maybe that I did. And if I can save them time and the expense, then that's great. I'm always happy to share my recommendations, as we're doing right now.
Yeah, I love that, and thank you for offering that. Now, with that being said, again, thank you for your time. How can our viewers, our community, reach out to you and also learn more about your business?
Sure. So I am online. My website is lacoaesthetics.com. I'm also on Instagram. So if you look me up there, and also on Facebook, I'm always happy to take emails, and I'm very timely in that. So I will certainly get back to anyone who has a question. My email is hello@lacoaesthetics.com.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And for those of you who didn't catch all that, no worries. It will be in the show notes. It will be in the description on the page. And again, Danielle, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for all the valuable information. And I'm sure it will help someone out there that's watching the show right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, everyone.